your hair was you.
Yeah.
It's a huge representation of you. And then to see it go to what you went through with chemo, and then when you first came into the salon that day, and your hair was like 1 inch long, and we all were just like gasping because
Wow.
we never saw such a thing
Wow.
before.
Wow.
Just, I think we all kind of cried more for the hair than you did.
Good morning, and welcome to episode 8 of Aging with Grace 55 Plus Diane Gilman. I'm your co-host, Dale Josie, and you'll recognize my co-host, Diane Gilman. In today's episode, you're about to meet her senior salon stylist, Troy, from John Barrett Upper East Side Salon in New York City, where Diane's been getting her hair done for 20 years. Good morning, Diane. How are you?
Good morning. Well, we are going to reveal some secrets today. So ladies, 55 plus, my sisterhood, if you feel your hair is thinning, if you considered going natural and stop dyeing your hair, if you've been thinking, you know what, I've been wearing the same hairdo since I was 20, it ain't happening anymore, you need to tune in for this podcast, especially because we got a little surprise or two for you, I would say, humbly, along the way. So let me talk a little bit first about my hair. My hair is such an intrinsic part of my on-air personality and my socialization that when I had breast cancer and I lost it all, my salon was there for me. I went in and actually had them shave my head so that I felt I got a start on chemotherapy, that I had control, and everybody cried except me. I said, come on, it's just hair. It'll grow back. You can't get your life back again. So let's go for it. But those were words I wasn't totally prepared to live out. You may get your hair back again after any form of disease where you get a heavy chemical presence in your bloodstream like chemotherapy. But there is no guarantee it's going to come back the same, or it's going to come back as populated and thick, or that it's going to be so easy to handle, or that you're even going to be able to color it. So my background with the John Barrett Salon, for me, having tried many in New York City, which should have a huge amount of talent, the John Barrett Salon for me is the very essence of the top in glamour, top in hair care, top in creating an image for you. And I love what Troy has done for me. We'll get into that in a moment. But John, who founded the salon in 1996, has a philosophy. And I think you should always, if you can, go to a hair salon that has a foundational philosophy behind it. So John says, hair should be a glamorous extension of who you are on the inside. Right. Oh, the point is to allow woman to express herself easily, naturally, and beautifully. Well, once you get past a certain age, easier said than done. I also want to give you just a really quick background on the celebrities that have gone to John and all the people around him. Troy has been with him since the beginning. So we've got Beyonce, Sofia Viagra, Candace Bushnell, the founder and creator of Sex and the City, Bette Midler, Hillary Clinton, Martha Stewart, and back in the day, ready for this? Princess Diana.
No way.
Oh yeah, way.
Impressive.
And there is always some celebrity walking in and just casually getting shampooed next to you and getting recreated week by week. So Troy is a senior salon stylist. He is a very good friend. He is a true artist. And when I came back to the salon after breast cancer, I had about an inch of hair It was curly, which it had never been. It was white. It had always been colored. And I said, what are we going to do with this? I got to go on air in like a day and a half. I mean, we tried this and we tried that. And we found that from the bottom up, we had to recreate me. I think you girls out there who are Silverellas like me, no. White and salt and pepper hair, totally different. No filler in the shaft, weaker, drier. And literally, honestly, a year ago, I had half the amount of hair. It's taken a while. Thank the Lord it grew back, but it has been a battle day by day. So Troy had to build, we had to build together our own personalized hair care and styling because nothing was working. And quite frankly, no one on the market really cares about us white-haired girls, even though we will soon be the majority of American women. So for us, it was kind of like hacking our way through the forest of hair with the machetes, trying to build a path. And I think we did it. And I think we should bring Troy into all of this because honestly, ladies, you are not going to believe our adventure together to get my hair to be what it is today. So shall we?
We shall.
Hello.
There's Troy. Good morning. How are you, Troy?
Hello, everyone. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning, Diane. Good morning, Dale.
Good morning,
well,
my friend.
What would you say? I mean, I'm a scary enough client as it is because I'm always in front of a camera. It was a TV camera. Now it's an iPhone camera for social media. So you said to me once, Troy, that you felt that my standards were very different from most of your customers. You've got some pretty glamorous but easygoing customers.
Well, I think what makes you a unique client and in the way that you're very hands-on and you have an opinion and a vision and you want to do things together as a team.
Yeah.
You're very focused.
I saw us that way. I saw us more as teammates. And, once you get into a groove, you're okay to sit back and let someone do within an expected arc of artistry how you kind of know you're going to come out. But can you give us just a brief background of what my hair was? Boo-hoo. I used to cry about it.
Sure.
I see the tears.
And what it is today. And by the way, I was out yesterday and some woman walked up to me and said, oh my God, I love your hair. I love your hair. Well, you know me, that's music to my ears because I'm someone that hides behind my hair. If I have a bad hair day, it ain't a bad hair day. It's a bad day.
Period.
Well, I mean, when I first met you, Diane, you had long red hair, like practically down to your waist, and your hair was your statement piece. I mean, it was. And yes, you oftentimes would wear it down over one eye, but it was a moment of your hair was you.
Yeah.
It's a huge representation of you. And then to see it go to what you went through with chemo, and then when you first came into the salon that day, and your hair was like 1 inch long, and we all were just like gasping because we never saw such a thing before.
Wow.
It was just I think we all kind of cried more for the hair than you did.
Yeah.
Well, just to kind of set it in our viewers and our audience, there's Diane right there. There's the hair. And John and Tony and Troy, you said it went to 1 inch.
It was, when she first came back in,
it was about 1 inch.
From this beautiful mane to 1 inch.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was 1 inch of white hair.
Even that was you could, and not only could you not do anything with it, but everybody,
we didn't do anything with it.
we couldn't. And I remember that everybody had an opinion, and the opinions were always from the TV network or from close friends who were like, oh, you've got to blow dry it like you used to blow dry it. Well, it used to be 40 inches long. It's 1 inch long now. It's not going to get blow dried. And I remember we were struggling with it, and John Barrett, who's very friendly and loves to make the rounds and say hi to his regular customers, came by us and said, why don't you let your hair tell you what it wants to do? And the point was, it grew back curly. We never saw my hair curly, but that's kind of a classic thing to happen with hair as it comes back in after chemo. So now suddenly I've got this white afro, and we're not sure where we're going. So I will only say this. I grew up from 1945 into the 50s. My mother used to use a can of Aquanet a day.
Oh,
a
yeah.
day. I actually remember once I was getting ready to go to school or whatever, and by accident I picked up a can of Aquanet and sprayed it under my armpits because I thought it was deodorizer. And my mother was screaming at me, what did you do with my Aquanet? I can't go out of the house without it. And wait till you see now how much of the equivalent of, because they always say you end up being your mother's daughter. But for me, I remember saying to myself as a kid, I will never have hairspray on my hair. And here we are today. And I used to call my mother helmet hair. You have helmet hair. You don't, if you get on a motorcycle, you don't need a helmet. You've got so much hairspray, you'll bounce off the pavement. But
that was the total different generation. And for you, with your generation, it was all like this long, straight, part in the middle, hippie hair.
And really,
totally
that was also the philosophy of the John Barrett salon, which was lush, flowing, free, long, sexy, volumized hair. Well, when you have white hair, Troy, tell me where you think the difference is between white hair and natural or colored hair.
Well, I think too, I mean, the white hair post chemo was another factor. I mean, it came back a different texture and weaker and less populated, like you said. So if we tried to approach your hair pre-chemo and with the red hair, we were trying to put rollers in it and blow dry it, and the hair would just collapse. It wasn't the same. It wasn't.
Couldn't do it.
It could not speak the same language anymore. So we had to learn a new language for your hair, really.
Yeah, we did. Here's the language. The language
more
product. The language is a build up of product in a certain order that works with the hair and emphasizes the best parts of it, but it is by far so much more product than I would ever have thought in a million years. We would use
more product than anyone else ever uses on their hair. Period.
Wow.
and actually, Troy was just on safari in South Africa, and John Barrett did my hair while Troy was gone for 2 weeks, and John couldn't do it. It was so against John's philosophy to put that much product on. It was mind-blowing to him. He couldn't do it.
It's counterintuitive. I mean, when your hair is weaker and finer and less populated, but then we end up putting on like literally up to 10 different products in your hair in one session, you would think that that's going to weigh your hair down. And
10
look at your
products.
Hair. But it didn't.
Literally.
It actually, we just picked, the salon has great products, and we're going to get into it now. And I refused to tell Dale the secret. Every recipe, including the recipe for my hair, has a secret ingredient. And I will tell you this, I could say to Dale, $10 million if you can guess the secret product. And he would never in a million,
Oh,
million years
no.
guess it, because honestly, the first time they brought the product into the shampoo room, I thought,
Uh-oh.
are you
Uh-oh.
people, you're kidding, right? Like, well, this isn't for me. So
Yeah.
Troy, let's begin, because this
Well,
is
every great
a
hairstyle
lot.
starts with a great foundation. And because we do apply so many products to your hair in one session, and with the makeup that you use and whatnot, and just because you're on television or you're on a podcast or whatever, we needed something that was going to really take you back down to the bare bones. And so we were having
Cut through all the
cut
greasy
through
makeup.
essentially, and
Yeah.
we were having a hard time finding something in salon as a salon professional product that would do the trick that we needed to. So I remember thinking to myself, what can I do to cut down some of these oily makeups and the buildup? So without further ado, I introduced Diane to the #1 shampoo in the world.
Uh-oh.
Dawn.
No way.
Yeah.
No way. They clean oil off of ducts and oil spills with Dawn.
There's the
Are you
duck right
serious?
here.
Oh,
And,
there's a duck.
and you can also,
Little
by the
duck
way,
right there.
use it at its dishwashing liquid. And I'm thinking to myself,
Seriously.
this is one of, without exaggeration, the 10 top salons in the entire world on the planet. And we're using Dawn dishwashing liquid. I was
$3.
a little resistant.
But it makes sense,
before.
right? It makes sense, Troy, because it's
It-
is rinsing everything off the hair. You're going back to basic bones,
Yeah.
which is what you suggested, right?
So
I
it makes
guess
sense.
so. So yeah.
It cuts down oil, cuts down product, whatever. So we start with a great foundation with our #1 product
Dawn,
for success.
as we call it.
Dawn.
Dawn.
Every
Dishwashing
time.
liquid.
So
Yeah,
I was
believe
instruct
it
them to
or
use
not.
some Dawn and
That's
get
so
Diane
We use
with
it
her
all
Dawn.
around the hairline. Yeah.
So ladies, if you want to know the #1 secret to fresh hair, it's Dawn.
Oh, wow.
So just in case you think that all of these products are out of price range, half of them were not,
Clearly they're
like
not.
Dawn. Yeah. And we got some others just off of Amazon. I mean, when I say we threw the net wide and high to get every product and put them into a specific order, we're not kidding. So what's next?
Yeah. So after we do the shampooing and the conditioning, and then we get Diane in the chair, and then we start with the foundation, which comes from the root, right? So scalp is very important to regrowing back hair to its fullest population. So we use this Orbe product here, which is for healthy scalp. It's a stimulant. You spray it on the scalp. It's got peppermint, and it stimulates the blood flow and helps to just stimulate hair growth.
And I would say that Orbe is probably the only big name hair care line that even cares about older women at all. Now I'm using something called Better Not Younger. We used that last week, and that is specifically for over 55-year-old women. And I'll get into that on my Instagram and later this week. But I do love the way that peppermint feels. So then what do we do?
Then we start with the traditional volumizing spray, and we just spray this all over from basically scalp up to maybe mid shaft, just to kind of give Diane that lift and that she needs. And the hair, because it is weakened and softer, it does not want to stand up, even with the curls. So we help, this builds a nice foundation. So we spray that everywhere.
And we are, what we want to achieve for me is big hair. I like big hair.
Statement
hair.
I like
that.
Mane.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A mane.
A flowing gray mane. I love it.
Yeah.
The hair enters the room before she does.
Yeah.
I love
it's so true, especially now that it's white. We do want to say, and we'll show you the shampoos we use really quickly and the conditioner, but the hair is my color. And I was just very lucky that it came back white. Now, for some reason, it's kind of turning a dark gray in the very back, but in general, we also go for what I would call the pearl luster. So what are the products we use for shine?
The shampoo that you use, I think, is definitely one is a great one from Clairol called Shimmer Lights. It's a purple shampoo which we put on, and it's great for anyone with white or silver hair. It brightens it up. You can get this on Amazon. You can get this anywhere. This is not a high-end expensive product. It's been around for 100 years.
Troy, what's the name of it again?
What?
It's called Shimmer Lights from Clairol.
Shimmer Lights from Clairol. Go ahead.
And
Diane.
I had tried, before my hair was even long enough at an inch to go back into the salon, I had bought some kind of purple shampoo from Orbe, and it said, you know, leave it in your hair for a minute. So I thought, well, if you leave it in your hair for a minute, what if you leave it in your hair for like 10 minutes? It's going to be better.
This is going where I think it's going.
I came out with purple hair.
Oh,
and it was hilarious.
So this is how that product looks, the Shimmer Lights.
Oh, there it is, Shimmer Lights.
Like a market. Oh, where are we?
You said on Amazon?
You can get this on Amazon. You can get this on any retailer, probably even at Walmart or Target. I mean, they have it everywhere.
Gotcha. So Diane, you're in line with your purple hair.
Yeah, I would go in line like at Whole Foods or something, and there'd be some young girl checking me out, and she'd say, "Oh, ma'am, can I just tell you, purple hair is so cool." And I think to myself, how am I going to go on there? Oh my God, I've got purple hair. This is like, how long is this monster going to take to grow out? So what I like about the Shimmer Lights is it emphasizes the pearlescence of white and salt and pepper hair, but it doesn't overpower and leave any residue on there. I mean, can I tell you, I had to walk around with purple hair for at least 2.5 months to finally get that out. When we say this was trial and error, not kidding. So go ahead, Troy, what's next?
So then we would use probably a very light conditioner, volumizing conditioner of some kind, whether that's a Milbon volume or something from Shuamora volume, just something lightweight on the hair, just so it doesn't weigh the hair down. We don't want it to weigh it down from the shampoo on, right? So from that base on, we want to start clean and fresh and ready to go.
Right. So what's next?
So then we come back after we applied the peppermint spray and the volume spray, then we start with the mousses. And these are for populating the hair, right? So we have this mousse here, which is for volume, right?
It works.
And we put this everywhere all over the hair. It's from Kerastase, it's the K mousse. Put this, and I put probably the size of an apple in your hair.
Okay.
Of each one.
Yeah.
And then this one is different in the sense that we have one for volume, and this is for thickness. She makes the hair thicker. It's a Kerastase densifique. And that one is to make each strand a little bit fatter, a little bit thicker.
Oh, that's good.
So that's
and
two different mousses. And again,
really
about the size of an apple, I generously apply all of these products to your hair.
Yep.
So these are the foundations, just to give you the lift and the volume. And then we move on to hydrating. And so we have a hydrating curl enhancing cream from Orbe. Again, it's called Curl Butter.
Yeah, very important.
It's very good. It coats. So this helps tame frizz.
Yeah. So you can be curly and have more defined curls. Because one thing I see all the time with older women is a lot of them have naturally curly hair. I don't want to be a granola grandma. I want to be sophisticated. I want it to look natural, but
polished.
Done, but polished.
Yeah, polished.
Right.
So we try to polish each curl, and so this helps with that, defining the curl. As of next up is our jelly, our curl jelly.
That I love.
This is an essential product to Diane's look. It's not heavy. We use a ton of it on her hair, and it helps to. It's the curl jelly from Orbe.
Yeah.
Orbe again. Okay.
It's a typical. It's a gel, but it's not a sticky gel. It's more of a workable gel, and we put this all through Diane's hair, and that again helps to define the curl. So it's a wonderful product for that.
And
then we go through and diffuse it and just kind of work with her on the curl.
Which is they're using they're going to use a blow dryer that has a diffuser attachment on it. So it's not about a lot of wind. Explain a diffuser.
So what the diffuser does, it just kind of, it takes away the wind that the blow dryer would push out. It has the heat coming out.
Oh.
So basically you get the
curl.
heat from the dryer, and it doesn't push the hair. It just kind of dries it with the heat instead of blowing it in the traditional sense. Sometimes I even ask Diane to sort of flip her head over, which she loves to do, with her head bent over in the salon. Yeah.
Flipping the gray mane.
And then flip it over.
Yeah, and then we come to then we start to come to after it's dry. Then where are we going with it?
After it's
because
dry,
we're not done with product.
We're not done yet. Are you serious?
So far,
no, there's more.
There's more. Go for
just
it.
For styling so far, we've used about 6 styling just as a setting for right now. And that's not including the Dawn.
Not including Dawn.
Not including the Dawn and shampoo. So then after the hair has been dried and we're ready to go, then we start with, I take a pomade. This is called Uzu Cotton from Shuamura. And this helps just define the curl, tame the frizz a little bit, break up any of the clumpy looking curls to kind of give them more individuality, if you will. And then we start with our sprays. And for somebody who did not want to be like her mother.
Helmet. We called her mother helmet hair. Go ahead.
No helmet
she's got her mother beat.
Right. Yeah, totally.
So then we use an Orbe styling dry texturizing spray, which gives it volume. And I spray this at the root, and we just lift and pick up that hair to give it the main look that we want. And while I'm doing this, Diane oftentimes keeps a towel over her face and says I'm trying to kill her. But
because there is so much alcohol, droplets in the air, and what else? We're not done yet.
And then we want to shine it up, so we use the shine, some Après Beach. This is a nice oil. It's a sprayable oil shine, if you will.
Yeah.
It gives Diane this nice sheen on her hair, and that's a great product for curly hair. It absorbs it really nicely.
And a good product for white hair, because white hair is so often dry and breaking off that sheen makes the hair look younger and more vital.
We associate that with young.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Healthy hair is younger hair.
Healthy hair, including volume of hair, correct?
Volume, density, shine, all of it. We all equate this to youth. And as we get older, we lose volume, we lose shine, density,
and resiliency. Now, what's
which
next?
Brings us to our next one.
Oh, yeah.
This is a magic powder that I spray around the hairline, and it pumps out this powder just to kind of populate around the hairline to give it, and it's white.
Because
it's a volume powder,
otherwise, I look like a rabbit with pink scalp and this white hair. And no matter what, you are never going to get that hair looking dense enough. So I don't know if you guys remember the movie The Fabulous Baker Boys with Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yes.
But the brother has a can of spray that they sprayed the back of his head, which is a bald spot, and it's colored spray, so that he you need cartons, Troy, not just bottles, but cartons. And
so this powder would not work on me.
Before we go to the next one, before we go to the next one, what was that last product you showed? With the volume. Yes, what is that called?
Volume powder called Swept Up by Orbe. It's a volume powder, and it is white it's essentially it's for volume, but it's white in color, so it works great for Diane. If you have white hair, it's perfect for that. I mean, it just kind of populates that root, covers the scalp, and it just makes the hair appear overall denser.
And we use it for about an inch, if an inch and a half in from face hair beginning through all of the front facial hairline, and then
we use something from
cheapy product that's great that you get on Amazon. Topic.
It's a great product though. We use this one as well. It's in white, and this one you just sprinkle on like salt and pepper. You just sprinkle it on over the top of her head, wherever you might have spots where you think, you can see a little bit too much of a pink scalp or whatnot.
Yeah.
And we just kind of sprinkle it on like that, and it just covers up that part of the scalp.
Older women will take on a form of male pattern baldness. And so the very back of my head, where most men start to get a loss of hair, so have I. And I would have to say, as much as my hair has grown back in from using a tonnage of vitamins that I'll go over at the very end of this, it doesn't, it's still nature, and just growing older keeps that part of my hair not at the same level of closeness of strands that I have like to the front. So that is really important stuff and very thrifty. And then comes helmet hair.
We finish. So just to remind everyone, we've already used 2 different sprays on Diane, and now we're going to finish it with our 3rd spray. This is what would be the modern day Aquanet, if you will. Your mother would be proud.
Totally.
This one will take your breath away. And so this is the Milbon Extra Strong 10, and we spray and finish the whole head with this, and just kind of give it like a nice sort of a screen or like a layer.
But and more on top.
More on the top, and we just kind of spray it everywhere. And then it does sort of give it like a little bit of a wet feeling at first for a few minutes. So I always have to tell Diane, don't touch your hair, Diane.
Little tacky.
Don't touch your hair, Diane.
But so you can see that it is a process, and we had to test every product together. A couple of the products, like topics, I'd use myself in a TV studio as my hair was growing out, and I was still on QVC HSN. But Troy came up with some solutions himself, and boy, we really put it together. And then I do want to say one last thing.
We got 5 minutes left before we lose Troy. And by the way, for our audience, this is Troy from John Barrett Upper East Side Salon in New York City, where Diane's been getting her hair done for 20 years. And Diane,
but only getting my hair done with white hair for how long, Troy? 3 years?
The past
4 years.
3.5 times.
Wow. So the other thing we take, which the salon happens to sell, is, but you can also get it anywhere on the internet, is vitamins for your hair. I use something called Nutrafol, Nutrafol. I take 4 of them a day. It's for skin, hair, and nails. It's got a ton of biotin in it. How do you feel that's been working, Troy?
I feel like we see great results from people who take Nutrafol with hair and nails, and it just helps keep your hair as healthy as it can possibly be, if not regrowing hair. That they call it the it's like a vitamin, but on steroids. It's like it's the most intense vitamin you can get for hair and nails.
It's really focused on it. So I do have to tell you, Troy, that when we started out, we were totally confused. It's taken us a few years to come up with this formula. Troy, do me a favor, count all the products, including the Dawn and the shampoo and conditioner we use.
Okay, so with the Dawn shampoo conditioner, you're looking at about 15 products.
15 products
per visit.
Let me ask this, Troy, because one of the things that we look at doing is for this show to be applicable to everyday women, right?
Sure.
Who maybe cannot get to a John Barrett studio in New York.
Sure.
So what about Middle America? Orbe and Milbon, you seem to really promote.
They're everywhere. You can find those everywhere.
So they're everywhere. So if someone can't get to that salon, can't get to you, the maestro of hair, Middle America woman, what should she at a minimum do with your products when she goes to her hairdresser?
She may be doing it herself.
I think the minimal thing you need to definitely focus on is a good foundation with the shampoo, get that clean. Second of all, think about products that are going to build your hair, whether it's through volume or through sprays, through mousses. Everyone's hair's got different textures in terms of frizziness, so take that in consideration. You might need something for defrizzing, you might not. It all depends on each person's hair type. A lot of these products, you can find variations of it at your local drugstore. They don't have to be
totally.
the super high end.
But I
Everyone
will
makes a
say,
volume.
everyone makes a volume, but I will say that the one thing that made me so want to do this podcast and have you on is there are now a growing number of women who are allowing their hair to be natural.
Especially post-pandemic.
Yeah,
Yes.
totally. And because younger women find the look really cool and go in and get their hair bleached out
That's
2
true.
to 3
To
times
silver.
in a visit just
Yeah.
to get it to be this
Yeah.
pearl color. But the industry is not really focusing on us the way it should. And that's why we just keep coming back to Oribe products. But I will also say that this new product, we used it last week, and it was a conditioner, 2 conditioners, a mask for the hair, and a shampoo, and it was called Better Not Younger. Did a stunning job as a product line that only focuses on older women.
Mature.
And you can get that on Amazon. But you know what?
What?
55-year-old, in my case, 77-year-old hair is not 40-year-old hair, is not 30-year-old hair, is not 20-year-old hair. You got to respect it. So usually, the day before I have my appointment, I'll eat salmon. I will eat foods that back up with omega-3 fatty acids. Those are things, components my hair needs. So I will also say diet, keeping my hair out of the sun all the time, wearing a hat, stuff like that. You're just prepping your hair for success. And also, I say, ladies, experiment. Don't be scared, but do know that the product you used when you were 20 for your hair is not going to be the workable product you need to use now at 60. And also, people always say, now they do, Troy. They all say, oh, your hair is so gorgeous. And you know what?
You're so brave.
Right, you're so brave. Yeah.
You're
it
so
was
brave.
hell getting there.
Well, let me ask you this, Diane. While we got Troy, While we got Troy, and Troy, we got about 2 minutes with you, my friend.
All right,
enjoying this interview with you. We talk about although it's nothing to be ashamed of, hiding gray hair is a big industry. And in researching for today's show, these are startling statistics for me. Americans spend over $2 billion annually on women's hair coloring products. Women spend on average $330 a year coloring their hair, some salons charging as much as $800. And despite the cost, AARP article noted that about 55% of women over 70 color their hair. Why? If it's something to be proud of, why is it such a big deal? Why are we hiding it? Diane and Troy, in the 2 minutes you have left.
I think we should change that.
Absolutely.
I do too. And I cannot, Troy, the last time I was in the salon, a woman walked up to me and she turned out to be somebody very well known. And she said, you are my idol. She had dark hair in the art world. And I said, why am I your idol? She said, I have never seen natural white hair done better. You give me hope that when I decide I'm quitting this game of coloring it, and that I'm going to have something to look forward to. Troy, I used to come in to get my hair colored at John Barrett because my metabolism is so fast. Every 8 days.
Yeah.
Imagine the expense.
Every 8 days. Yeah.
Imagine all those chemicals on my head, on my scalp, next to my brain. None of that was good news. It was incredibly time consumptive. You're breathing in all this formaldehyde and who knows what. And I got to tell you, Troy, I never thought we would get there. And I'm still a little self-conscious because I'm usually the only white-haired girl in the room at any event.
But you are starting to see a little bit more of that. You are post-pandemic. it's a
I
small
am,
percentage, but
but
there's been
what I
changes.
am seeing is women being bold enough to come up to me at an event and say, wow, that is
Well, you're inspiring.
gorgeous.
Inspiring indeed. And a
Yes.
trendsetter for your,
Yes,
for your
You know
silver
what?
hair
inspiring, and I
sisters.
hope that that works. I hope that
Yeah.
they should
I
all be
think it
taking
will work.
notes.
I think
Yeah.
it will.
Well, on that note, I hope our audience has enjoyed our interview as much as we have with Troy. Absolutely,
Thanks
Troy
so much
from
for
John
having me.
Barrett Upper
Oh,
East
so
Side
much
Salon.
fun.
You
And
were
I'll see you
wonderful, Troy.
tomorrow. We're blow drying my hair.
Even from a
Yeah.
guy's perspective, I learned a lot. And Troy, I truly appreciate not only what you're doing for Diane's hair, but for millions of women's hair across the country. Have a great day.
My
friend. Until
pleasure.
next time.
Thanks so much.
See
Bye,
you
guys.
tomorrow. Bye. The John Barrett Salon serves its own food. You can order lunch there. And it's hilarious. When Troy first figured it out, of course, there's a little kitchen and a dishwasher. He just went, he said, hold on a second. I got to go into the salon kitchen, and came back with this bottle of Dawn dishwashing liquid. And I thought, what are you doing? What does this have to do with me? And then, of course, we used it because I use because my skin is older as well and drier. I use a very oily makeup base, and we couldn't. White hair picks up color instantly, so we couldn't get the flesh tone out of it, and it was getting really frustrating. So I have to say that was really brilliant on Troy's part, but also I'm such a different client than his usual clients who, I would say the John Barrett Salon is very famous for a type of color called balayage, where you were once blonde, but you have light brown streaks going through it, and it's very, very natural. So a lot of older women who were blonde in their youth continue that whole look, but with their hair now, basically a no color base, which is white. But I felt that color goes on an older head and frames an older face in a very harsh way.
How so?
And darker, well, you're never going to get it to be totally perfect. You would start seeing my white roots. This is pre-breast cancer. I would say about 3.5 days into my color, you'd start seeing some of the white roots showing through. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is so tacky. I hate this. And then the real news is you're not fooling anybody. And unless you've got a master colorist who really knows how to make it, because every woman wants dark, if she's got dark hair as a youth, she wants darker hair, but that's very harsh framing a face. So I took all of that, including the chemicals in coloring your hair, into account when I made the big decision to let it just go natural. And the truth is, honestly, I look at myself online now, I look at myself in photographs, and I love the look. And it's teaching me so many new adventures in makeup, in how I wear. I never wore color before, but now it's great with white hair. So you know what, ladies, take it if you are ready to shed your manufactured hair and go for natural and have some confidence that the universe is going to show you the way to make it fabulous. Go for it. It's a real attention getter. And my hair is now a total statement piece.
Let me go back to what you're talking about a minute ago, the blending of roots, because, and for our guests, by the way, you'll know we're talking to Diane Gilman, who created DG2 denim jeans for women, becoming the #1 retail tele personality, I should say, on QVC and HSN. selling 20 million pairs of her DG2 denim jeans for women. Diane, something you said in our interview with Troy, our discussion with Troy, you just alluded to it a minute ago. We talked about the dark roots. I want to clarify this. You said something about starting an inch on your forehead. Is that right? And then working this product back in to blend your hair better?
Yeah, it's no different than, honestly, for me, and I say it in my book, my age right now, and however far I am privileged enough to be on this earth, this is my third act. So maybe because I've been on television for 30 years of my life, I see everything as kind of has an entertainment and impact factor to it. I just we took a very simple product called Toppik, Toppik, and you get it on with Amazon, and they have white, and it's like white salt shaker. And we go about an inch in. We start here at the very end of my face and the beginning of the hair follicles surrounding my face, and do it white, because your scalp is pink and I don't want to look like an Easter bunny 12 months a year. I want to look like my hair is luxuriant and thick. And one way to do that, as a younger woman with thick, natural colored hair, you don't see your scalp showing through, but with white, you do. So the one thing that is always the biggest complaint for me is there are so many of us in America as women who are coming into their late prime, do not want to color their hair anymore, want to take some chances, don't want to look like a grandma, even if you are, and proud of it, but you don't want to look and exude old age through letting your hair dominate your message. So that was the line I had to play with. That was the wall in between looking like a glamorous older woman and just looking like someone who maybe proverbially would ordinarily say, oh, I guess she doesn't care about herself because she doesn't dye her hair. I care about myself and my public image, how I communicate with the world, and what I put out there a lot. But I just decided if I was going to go on the internet and try to be what I am naturally, which is a Silverella influencer, I had to walk the walk and talk the talk. So just so everybody knows, it is a learning experience. It is like being, a great inventor. And we had to take a year and more to invent this look. And now, I thought to myself, and I did this, ladies, and you might want to do it as well. I'm very pragmatic. I'm not practical, but pragmatic. I put everything I wanted from my hair down on paper. What did I like about my white hair? Well, in the beginning, not very much.
Of course.
What did I want from my white hair? And what had my hair been to me when I was coloring it? And now, when I look at all those squares, I can check off almost everything. Drama, yes. Luxuriant, yes. Voluminous, yes. A great new image, well, I hope you guys all think so. Yes. So do that for yourself. Ask yourself, what if you are going to take this big adventure and do a whole new look and persona? And believe me, it's fun. It's really fun. Write down what you loved about your hair when it was natural, what you loved about your hair when it was colored and younger, and what you want from your hair now. And that may even help your hairdresser achieve goals. And or if you do it yourself, then you've still got guidelines to go by. But honestly, it's all part of admitting to yourself that as older females, 55 plus. No, we're not 20-year-olds anymore. Those tricks are not going to work for us. But guess what? We are our own woman. We hold the power to change our image, to give out a message of strength and clarity, and however you want to be, warmth, kindness, glamour, and then get down to it and start putting it all together. And for me, it's vitamins, it's my food intake, and it's outward product. Yeah.
So basically, Diane, as we go to our close in 30 seconds, whether or not, I think your final message for today perhaps will be whether or not you choose to cover your gray is a very personal decision, right? On one hand, coloring gray hair can be costly and time consuming. On other hands, people prefer the way they look with the grays showing. So wherever you are on that scale, sounds like you're okay, right? Yes.
Yeah,
no?
but just don't think that it. I've heard women, friends of mine, say, "Oh, I'm not ready for that yet." Well, the more of us there are, the better. You know, there's advantage to numbers, but don't smash your image of gray hair as, "Oh, I'm going to get identified as an old lady. Oh, I'm not going to be in the play or the mix anymore. Oh, I'm not going to be respected or treated right." On the contrary, I have to say that this hair is so unique.
Yeah.
And really totally serves its purpose, because for me, I chose, and I worked my way through many iterations of glamorous older woman, and I am loving it.
That's great. So
but
good.
It's a process.
It's a process with 15 products that we heard about, including that European product, Juan. So what amazing show.
Yeah.
Wow, what a great show, Diane. And thank you for your honesty and your candor to share this with our audience. And by the way, for our audience, you can like our show by clicking subscribe, click like it, and you can follow Aging with Grace, Diane Gilman, 55 plus, every Saturday morning with fresh episodes. But you can also find us anytime you want to on YouTube or on our companion podcast series. Troy was delightful, Diane. You said he would be. You said you had a surprise for me, and you delivered on both. Thank you so much for a great show.
My pleasure.
Till next time.
So just go to your kitchen and get some Dawn and try it.
Try it today.
We'll see you next time. Yeah.
Till next time. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Bye.